I stood outside the bank vault on a freezing Tuesday morning. I was 49, completely broke and dressed in clothes I'd bought from a thrift store. I had $600 left to my name, the last of my unemployment check. That $600 was the key to a small, dusty safety deposit box left by my grandfather. My wealthy uncle, who controlled the family's entire estate, told me the box contained nothing but sentimental junk. I was desperate enough to believe him. But that $600 gamble was about to unlock a truth that would expose a $500 million theft and rewrite my destiny. I want to know where you are watching this story from. Drop your city name in the comments box. My name is Daniel Porter. For 20 years, I ran a small specialized tech repair shop. I wasn't rich, but I was stable, comfortable, and independent. 2 years ago, a massive local infrastructure project demolished my business location, and the subsequent debt and insurance struggle annihilated my savings. I lost the shop, the house, and eventually, my wife. I was living in a tiny, rented room above a laundromat, surviving on instant noodles. My family's fortune, built by my grandfather, William Porter, rested in the hands of my uncle, Richard Porter. Richard, a cold, arrogant corporate lawyer, had managed my grandfather's estate since his passing 5 years prior. My grandfather's will was simple. His entire liquid estate went into a trust managed by Richard, but one small item was left to me. Safety Deposit Box 447 at the First Fidelity Bank. The bank manager informed me I could access it, but the annual fee was overdue. The cost to open it and settle the unpaid fees, $600. I called Richard, desperate for help. Richard, Daniel, don't waste your last $600 on that box. It holds a few old ties and Dad's broken pocket watch. It's sentimental junk. I'm handling the real money. His disdain was palpable, but the way he dismissed it, so quickly, so casually, felt wrong. Against all common sense, I paid the $600. It was a leap of blind faith, a final, desperate act of remembering my grandfather's quiet wisdom. I was led into the small silent vault viewing room. I unlocked box 447. Inside, there were no ties or pocket watches. The box contained 3 items: a single, crisp manila envelope, a thick stack of beautifully aged stock certificates, tied with a string, a heavily redacted official-looking ledger. I ripped open the manila envelope first. Inside was a handwritten letter from my grandfather, dated 1982. My dearest Daniel, if you are reading this, Richard tried to stop you. He always prioritized money over morality. The money is not the point. The truth is, the stock certificates are the core of the trust, the original seed money. I placed them here years ago when I knew Richard's greedy eye would be watching the main trust. These shares, combined with the rest of the portfolio, are the family's true worth. Look at the date on those certificates. Now, look at the ledger. Find the difference, Daniel. Find the theft. Your destiny depends on your precision. Grandpa William. I turned to the stack of certificates. They were original shares of Apple Computer Inc. dated 1981. Grandpa had invested early and kept the certificates safe. I did a quick panicked calculation of the stock splits over 4 decades. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was not a few $1,000s. This was serious wealth. I took the box to my tiny, rented room. I called my old friend Marcus Chen, a brilliant forensic accountant I knew from the tech world. Marcus arrived, skeptical but curious. We sat in the cramped room, surrounded by instant noodle containers, poring over the documents. The stock. We calculated the current market value of the original Apple shares. After the subsequent splits and gains, the value was approximately $150 million. This was my inheritance, hidden away from Richard's grubby hands. The ledger and the proof. We turned to the heavily redacted ledger, Grandpa's master list of the family estate's total holdings before Richard took over. On page 37, there was a single, non-redacted line entry. Total liquid assets, 1990. Valuation, $670,000. Marcus Chen whistles sharply. Daniel, $670 million. Where's this money now? We checked the public records of the trust Richard managed. The official public trust valuation was exactly $150 million, the same amount as the stock certificates I held. Marcus Chen. Wait, Richard reported the entire estate's current worth as $150 million. If he had managed the rest of the portfolio responsibly since 1990, the trust should be worth well over $500 million today, even accounting for taxes and expenses. But he only reported what you're holding. The rest of the money, it's gone. The shocking truth settled over us. Richard Porter had systematically liquidated the entire non-Apple portfolio, the remaining $520 million, over the last 10 years, and funneled the money into offshore accounts, reporting only the untouched, easy-to-track Apple stock as the family's true asset. He had been paying me a few $100s a year for interest from the main trust while stealing $500 million. The shock turned into cold, clear rage. Richard hadn't just stolen money. He had orchestrated a life of poverty for me, his own nephew, while sitting on a $500 million personal fortune. He hired the most aggressive financial litigation team in the city. The evidence was irrefutable. Grandpa's hidden ledger, the dated Apple certificates, proving Richard lied about the trust's original composition, and the public records showing the missing $500 million. The legal siege was swift and brutal. We filed suit against Richard Porter for breach of fiduciary duty, grand larceny, and fraud. I confronted Richard in the courtroom. He was arrogant, dismissive, and utterly unprepared for the evidence. Richard, sneering, "Daniel, you have no proof. The trust was volatile. You've lost your mind. I'll have you thrown out for defamation." Daniel, "Uncle, I haven't lost my mind. I found Grandpa's box. The Apple stock is worth $150 million, but the trust was valued at $670 million in 1990. Where is the $520 million you liquidated and failed to report? We have the forensic accounting. We know about the offshore accounts. You didn't manage the money, Uncle. You stole it." Richard's face went from pale to ashen. The cold, arrogant facade crumbled under the weight of the undeniable proof. The courts froze all of Richard's assets. The criminal investigation began immediately. Richard, facing decades in prison, was forced to settle instantly. He returned the stolen $520 million to the family estate. The final accounting. My $600 gamble not only secured my direct inheritance of $150 million, the Apple stock, but it restored the $520 million to the family trust. I, the broke nephew living above a laundromat, became the custodian of the family fortune, and Richard Porter, the arrogant lawyer, ended up disgraced, penniless, and facing prison. I used my own $150 million inheritance to establish the William Porter Legacy Foundation, dedicated to supporting small entrepreneurs destroyed by circumstances beyond their control. I built a life not just of wealth, but of profound purpose and integrity, the kind of life my grandfather always wanted for me. The small, dusty box, which Richard called sentimental junk, contained not just stock, but the proof of his massive betrayal. I was broke at 49, paid $600 to unlock Grandpa's box, and inside was the Apple stock and the undeniable proof that my uncle stole $520 million. That $600 was the best investment I ever made. It bought me not just a fortune, but the profound satisfaction of reclaiming my dignity and my family's true legacy. If you believe that the truth will always surface, no matter how hard others try to bury it, share your story in the comments. And if you agree that integrity is the most valuable inheritance, hit that like and subscribe button.